time to get on with that little midget. That black midget that's in your workshop, Richard. Enjoy the video. And before we get into it, can you check you're subscribed, even if you think you are? A lot of people are being unsubscribed. Weird stuff. If you're not subscribed or never have been, why not? Please consider subscribing. Helps my channel, helps grow it. If you fancy contacting me, then churchhouseClassics, and that's all one word, @gmail.com. Please bear in mind, there's only one of me. I do everything. I'm wardrobe, I'm chief director, I'm grip, I'm sound boy, I'm chief mechanic, secondary mechanic, and everything else. It takes me a while to get back to all the emails, but I do get back to every single email. And if you fancy supporting the channel or buying me a pint, then there's a PayPal me link scrolling at the bottom of this feature. Hit the old thumbs up button, hit the thumbs down button, comment down below, subscribe down below. There you go, that's it. Enjoy it. We're having some challenges here. First and foremost, I've scraped a huge amount of shite off the underside of the car, which has kind of fallen onto the floor now. There's a bloody great dent up here. I'm not quite sure how that's happened. But where the flexi line goes through the inner wing here, the hole's elongated. And it's not going to be very easy in order to secure the flexi line and have enough thread left on the end of it, because I've only got a very short amount of thread on it for the master anyway. So I suspect what I'm going to end up having to do here is basically cut a chunk out, Dremel a chunk out, and weld a bloody great washer in there that the flexi line can go through. And the prop shaft is off. Not a fun job, folks. So all the fixings came apart. They've been on here a while. The ones at the front, the nuts were better profiled. The ones at the back, the bolts were really starting to suffer a little bit. There's just a bit more exposure at the back end of the car. Oh, let's get that off there, Richard. They can all go in there. Prop shaft itself is shagged. We're going to take it apart and see what's going on here. I think it's been lacking some maintenance. It really is quite tired. No grease inside it. You can't lube the UJs up on these things, by the way. Can't listen to it. Clacking away like a good one. You can't lube the UJs up. Right, now let's get under here, because I got a bit more room under here, and I was able to get my spanners in and on. Now, the absolute and utter hero of the day here is this, which is a really ancient King Dick 9/16 long spanner. And the reason it's the hero of the day is because it's so finely engineered, and also the ring at the end there was small enough that I could actually get it over the heads of the bolts. I have got an old Elora spanner as well, but all of these other spanners, not a chance. So I was able to get one ring end on using my fantastic. When you ever go to kind of car shows and so forth, rifle through the bins. If you see old school stuff like this, buy it. You can see this one's had a bit of abuse over the years, but beautiful. Anyway, that can go back. Thank you very much. So undid the UJ in there, undid the UJ here, then getting it off. Now that was a struggle, I'll be honest. There was something up here, probably the underside of the handbrake, that was stopping the prop shaft from going up. So I was having to rotate it while I was trying to pull it down to get the end past the flange for now of the differential. I was starting to think that I was going to have to support the body and lower the axle. But no, I managed to get it out with the axle car held up on these long stands. And it did just about come past. Right, with that in mind, we need to, tiny little prop shaft, we need to find out what's going on. I think when they flop around like that, they're generally a bit too far gone. So let's go to the bench, which was clear this morning and now no longer is. Cleaned up the outside face of the prop shaft. It's actually not in bad shape. general rule of thumb is if you can feel a click in the prop shaft, then it's shagged. Feel it, I can hear it. And this plane is not quite so bad. So these two cups are dead, and similarly that one and that one are definitely dead, and this one down here is dead. So I've got 3 dead on this end. That one's probably seized up solid. Now that said, they are actually articulating and rotating as they should have done originally, and normally when they get this tired, they start to seize up. So I'll be interested to see what's going on in there. Now, one thing that they do tend to do, these universal joints, one thing they will do, as they start to wear to this sort of point, they will squeak. So when you're driving along and you can hear it as you're driving along, drives you up the bloody wall thinking, what the hell is that noise? Universal joints normally. Now, the shame about this one feels very grating on that movement. The shame about these things is there's no capacity, there's no space in there for a bleed nipple at all. So they're assembled, pre-packed, assembled with the grease that they've got available. And there's not a lot I can really do about that because even all the replacements are pre-packed. Right, so we've got the inboard end apart. That's not great, is it, folks? So that'll be why it had play on it. And similarly, the Spider is bone dry. It's a shame they can't get some form of grease nipple on this. But then, I'm not convinced this thing's been apart. Well, it may not have been apart since it was put together the very first time. These things are a bastard to get out, I can tell you now. You have to persevere. What I basically do, let me show you me getting one of these bastard things out. So let me mount you in the bicycle. Find one that stands a fighting chance of actually shifting. Probably that one. Right, so we mount that in there like that. You can come in, and then we get a flat blade screwdriver. So as you go, I've already lubed it up, and really all I'm trying to do here is brutalise my poor flat blade screwdriver so I can get the end out. Once I've got the end out, then it's just a case of working your way around the clip. This one's going surprisingly well so far. Working your way, oh, there it goes. Right, so then it snaps, and you think, oh, you bastard. Then you've got to start the other end and do exactly the same thing. The problem is, if you end up snapping the other end off, then you need to find a way of getting the little piece out that's in the groove that invariably will be like that, and you can't get it out. So yeah, there's frequently swear words with these, I can tell you now. It'd be helpful if this box was round by my feet so I could actually get in front of the vice. Sometimes banging the cup a little bit will get it in, but ultimately you just have to faff around like this. I'm just walking it out. There it goes, there's the other end snapped off, that's fantastic. So I have got from here to here, that's actually not too bad. There's only about a quarter of that clip left in. I think the rest of it is out. So then, again, please don't do this to your screwdrivers. I'm not putting an enormous amount of weight into it. What I might need to do though is bang the cup in. So impact socket, folks. Now, did that help? That might have helped. It has helped. I can see the lump of metal wiggling backwards and forwards. clean the top of the cup up so it stands a fighting chance of coming out. It's actually stuck to the cup, I think. Should get a drift in there. So if I can get it to move a millimetre, then often, there we are, it moved. So often now it's moved, it might come out. It moved from the end was there, about there, to there. Get it to move back. It moved. Just thinking about it. Let's give it another hearty good tap. Because all I'm really doing there, I guess, is pushing the cup in. I'm going to make it worse for the other side though, that's the only problem. But you can see the challenges here, folks. That is starting to ease its way out. Let's use an entirely impractical neon screwdriver. No. How are we going to get this bastard out? We're going to work on the other side, I think, first, and then we're going to come back to that one. So similarly. Let's bash this in now. If we push the cup in slightly, we might stand a fighting chance of this coming out without it ricocheting across the workshop. Oh, it's fun though. Better than working for a living, isn't it? Fuck's sake. If you could get prop shafts new, this would be kind of the point where I would just be saying, oh, just fucking get another prop shaft. Because I've got, well, I've done 4. This is the 6th. And I've got one snapped off. Right, now, that has got both ends of that out. Let it soak in. Soaking in somewhere, folks. What I really want to do is to get one end of this up. Because the problem now is like that. Oh, that's snapped off. Fucker. But now what it will do is give me the room to walk this around. Oh, you bastard. Big punch. Oh dear. Well, it's going home time. I've got enough. Biggie punchy. Big bastard. Right, what I want to do here is I can see the end of it now. Sometimes it's enough to shock them out. We're almost halfway round. Ah, snapped off, you cunt. Sorry. Ah, darn it all, it snapped off. However, that, as it snapped off, freed up the rest of it, which is here. It came out and then I've wedged it back in again. Just freaking came out. It was out and I pushed it back in again. Silly bastard. Let me belt it one again. Probably fine. It will come out. Fucker. There it is. Right. Now it's out. Let us get in there with something small to pick it out with. There it is. That's one end out. Right, now let's rotate to the other ends. Let's see if we can't get that bit out now. So if I, wrong way, I want to do this. Sounded like it moved. The cup moved anyway. Right, drift. Right, drift is pushing it around. Small drift. It's going to be better than a screwdriver, isn't it? Just. There it is. Right, okay, that came out of the slot. And there it is. Right, that's those two out. Number two. You don't need to watch. I want to put the music on. Well, that escalated quickly, didn't it? Right. There's a couple of reasons, 3 reasons, in fact, why I did this. First reason was the outer handle was very, very, very sticky. I got the lock mechanism out. I'll go over what I'm doing with it. The handle is a bit kind of fucked anyway. So I wanted to sort the handle and the lock mechanism out, but also this door was incredibly tight to open and close. So that was the main reason for taking it off the hinges, because I didn't know which hinge was causing the problem. There's also some suspicious shite down there, which I might just need to scrape out and put some wax onto. So top hinge, well, that works all right, doesn't it? A little bit of play on it, but nothing particularly serious. Bottom hinge. Right, I'm pulling the car off its stands. I'm actually bending the A post here. So I suspect the bottom hinge is seized. I need to undo these 3 fixings next. That's going to be an impact wrench, I think. Now, the problem I've probably got down here is that there is going to be some stress-related damage to the bottom of the A post. I can see already there's a crack up the inside for that. That's a shame, isn't it? And it's probably because this door has just, you can see it actually flexing the A post as I'm trying to move the hinge. It's not the hinge that's moving on the pin, it's the A post that's moving because the hinge is absolutely seized solid. So that's the main reason for getting the door off there, I think, was to work out what on earth is going on here. Of course it's fixable, everything's fixable. We just need to work out the best way of doing it. So hinge off first and foremost. I'm rather hoping, because I've never taken a midget apart before, rather hoping that it comes apart fairly straightforwards. What I might do is take the trim panel off on the inside here. Trim panel, there was a bloody parcel shelf as well. Parcel shelf and trim panel. And the seal. Oh, that comes off nice and easy. Look at that. That's off already. So there goes the seal, which we might end up replacing. I don't know. It's all looking a bit ragged. Door card came off nicely. That's all good. But that's, you can see there's a big crack there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but right on the tip of my finger, there's a huge crack for now. To hinge off, belt sander, see if we can't make a localised repair. The stuff at the bottom there all looks fairly factory. So I think what's happened is this is a fairly recent problem with this door hinge seizing up like this. So hopefully we caught it in time. Now, one thing I did want to find out was, these will go into a captive plate, which is why I was thinking about taking this internal trim off here to see if I can get to the back of the captive plate, and if I can, then I can lube it up. And of course, all of you midget fanboys will have known already that there isn't any access at all. But never mind. It was only a couple of minutes to get the parcel shelf out, and it gives me access to sort this screen demist vent out as well while I'm here. Lots of wax and stuff been sprayed in here, so someone's given it some love and attention. Not looked at the floors yet. I've not gone down that far yet. I do need to get the bonnet pull out because that thing is stiffer than... I can't even think of an appropriate stiffness kind of quote there, I'm afraid. It's an interesting little flap there, isn't there? Is that attached to one of the dash controls? Or is it screwed closed? It looks like it's a flap, doesn't it? Fresh air vent. Footwell. I don't know anything about these. Evidently. There would be a lever somewhere on the heater, I would have thought, that would allow you to direct air up onto the screen or down into the footwell, because it's part of the heater unit. But I don't know where that would be. Nice little interior light fixing there, though. It's quite sweet, isn't it? In front of what would be the single speaker for the radio, and that is a Motovox. Oh, check it out. Gonna have to see if that works. No battery connected at the moment, though. Yes, right, okay, so no harm taking that out. I'd have had to take it out if I was putting the welder in there anyway. Right, let me see if I can't get this this hinge out. Well, pleasantly, all three fixings came out of the A-post, no problems at all. And a little bit of working backwards and forwards, a tiny bit of heat, which has kind of gone off now, but moving it backwards and forwards, and look at the rust staining on this pin. I suspect that the hinge is probably going to be no good. We'll see. It really is very, very, very tight, and all I've been doing is lubing it up with penetrant phenol. I don't even know what there's with phenol in, and seeing if I can't get it to. But all the time I'm moving it, look, the rust coming out. Now the pin is moving in the housing and not in the arm. So I don't know how these things are designed to work, whether they are fixed into this and should move on the hinge. I really couldn't tell you, but here you can see very clearly that's moving in the housing. So I suspect what's happened here is, because I would have thought the pin would be an interference fit into the housing, and then loose on the look at all that rust. It could just be it's fucked. I want to get the driver's side apart as well, but before I do the driver's side, I really want to do the door lock as well on the passenger side. So I got it more or less back together, but that's just too tight. That's all I can do to get that to move. And even when I've got all this done, with as much lube as I can put on that, that's still just going to seize up in no time at all. So I think we'll look at another hinge. Right, so I got it to loosen up now at last, and there's a huge amount of play in it. I don't think it's any good, and also it is as gnarly as hell, which makes me wonder if it has got serrations on the pin top and bottom, or that the pin is actually just seized into the centre section here. Giving up with it, but it does move now at least. But it's not going to be long before it seizes up again, really. So, door catches. The main item that goes on the outside of the car wasn't in bad order. I'm going to clean all of this overspray off it, make it look smart again, because it's a relatively nice looking unit. That was okay, just needed a lube up. The reason the button was so hard to press was because that was utterly seized up. And I think what happens when you push the button, it operates this lever here, which is still utterly seized up. I just had the fucking thing moving just now. Which way did I go? That way. This way. So I've got it soaking in some lube at the moment. This is the bit that the internal handle goes on to. And that's obviously the external catch. So I'm giving it a damn good clean up. This bit, I reckon, when it goes back on the door, will work just fine. We might have to get a new one of those. We'll see how it copes with the lube, and then a quick reworking with some oil. The problem we've got is that everything has just kind of been baked and then kind of got wet and then left. I checked the other hinge, by the way, and the other hinge, the pin is definitely fixed into the housing. And in fact, this thing is just so sticky, it's ridiculous. So this pin here, I'm actually going to say the pin's broken, because the bottom rotates with the housing and the top rotates with the shaft. So I think the pin is broken, which is probably where all the play's coming from. So that needs a refurb. It needs another pin pressing into it. Let's get this lot sorted out though. It's relatively straightforward. So there's nothing particularly complex with it. There's all the bits that came out of the inside of the car. Right, so got it all back together again. Simulate closing the door. Okay, simulate opening the door. Bear in mind, this used to be like absolutely tough as old boots. Still tough as old boots, but at least it opens now. You can open it with one finger, for fuck's sake, Richard. We just pick up the screwdriver. At least you can open it now. The other thing I've done is slackened up this. It was this mechanism on the inside of the door, as I predicted, that was actually really, really tight. So that now opens really, really nicely. And then the lock also works inside and out. And I found one of the keys here. Not that one, because there's about 15 different keys here. This key, unlock and open. Okay, so that's done that. So I just need a hinge ready for this door, and this can go back together again. Right, driver's side, just to prove the point. That's how difficult it is to get the door open. All right, so we can improve on that, definitely. And that's my challenge. Should I choose to accept it? I don't think we're going to have problems with either hinge on this side. This door opens and closes quite neatly. So we've only got one hinge out of 4 that is dead. So that's not bad, is it? Right, we've got some additional problems on this side. The glass absolutely scratched the fuck. I don't know if you can see it on that reflection. You feel it with your fingers, one side to the other. So we might, if I'm going to take this thing apart, we might end up replacing the drop glass if I can find a better drop glass. The winder itself is incredibly tight. I've not actually bothered to do this before. Could just be that the felts need lubing up. It could be that the regulator is tired. I don't know. It's on the driver's side, so it will have been used a little bit more. Oh, I just found the hazard warning switch. Look at that. I wonder where that was. So realistically, and the other thing is, I've taken the mechanism out, and the handle works better. But you could see that it's actually not even sitting right in the door. It's kind of like hanging out the door. And then on top of all of that, the key is different for the passenger side and the driver's side. So what we might do here is the whole damn lot. So I'm going to take the glass frame out of this side, regulator out. Let's get it all working, because the idea is that this thing needs to be easier to use. What did I do with my torch? I put my torch somewhere. There it is. Now, bottom of the A pillar is just as bad on this side as it is on the other. I'll have to do a bit of research about how best to deal with this. It does look like someone has changed the hinges on this side. Bottom hinge looks like it's got different coloured screws in it. But yes, I think so. Now, question arose. I don't know if black is an original colour for MG Midgets. It does appear that everything in this car is black. So therefore, and because of that, if everything is black, then it's an original colour. Or it was a brand new body shell that was completely stripped out and painted. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be nothing particular. We're chopping and changing. So I'm going to get the regulator and the glass out. Now the regulator is actually quite complex on this thing. For a little door, if I put the torch like that and then wind the glass up, you can see how there is two arms that goes to the bottom of the glass, and then one cantilever which drives that arm, which looks to be bolted on here with the regulator up here. So that's one arm off the main arm of the regulator, and then there's this cantilever arm which goes down here to this unit which goes to that arm there. So I've got no idea is the honest answer here.